Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee special meeting to order. I am the chair of the Finance Committee. My members are Mr. Dean Holland, Mrs. Amy May, and my alternate is Cheryl Ramos. The purpose for tonight's meeting is the appropriations for 2022. Hopefully, we can get through everything tonight so we can get this passed before the deadline without having any more special meetings. The first thing I would like to do is to go to page 3. The auditor sent some corrections for that page. Line item 1102, the adjustment was made to $100,000. Line item 1210 was made to $35,000. Line item 1240 was made to $4,000, which put the total for the professional services at $371,345, which made the grand total for 101,800 at $391,845. Was that all correct, Beth, then? Was there anything else you saw? Okay. We will go and pick up where we left off on the date of March 9th, which was page 34. I'm just going to start at the top again. Engineering, there's $225,000. Service director, do you know what projects you'll be pulling from there for the engineering?
Every list of projects I gave you earlier, gave council earlier, have some of those.
Is that the only ones that's coming out of there?
You may have some in Vision through, Erie Canal. You have some preliminary stuff on things that are going in 23. For the, connector trail. I'm trying to get to that page.
Yeah, I am too, Ronnie. I'm trying to
Say
find your,
23, or what'd you say?
I'm trying to find your list.
34?
Yeah.
Let me get there. Forgot my mouse.
This is a new draft. It's a master capital, right? It's supposed to be this one. This is the new one.
I also corrected that park line since the last meeting.
Excuse me, Beth?
The park one, 5204, I also corrected that one since the last meeting.
Okay, well, we'll get down to it
Okay.
to check, get to that, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows which ones which ones are on the, for, this year.
I passed it.
What, the jobs for sure was Park Lane and Glen Drive. Correct? That's the two big ones. Then the other ones were some little ones you had on your list, Mayor?
Yeah.
Correct, okay. And that's just basically the engineering of looking at the projects and getting them ready for the, whenever you fund those projects to go, correct? Okay. Okay, then the next one, paving, down to 5203. Then to the park one, that's the one we were stopped at to discuss. Beth, what did you adjust that to?
I think I had to add pickleball courts or something wasn't in there.
Okay, what I had coming out of that line item was $35,000 for the flooring at the park pavilion. Correct, Ron?
I'm sorry?
Out of the park's money, $35,000 was for the park pavilion flooring.
You had 35 for that, you had 50 for.
I know I was just going down each one of them. She was saying she didn't know which one she missed, and that's what we were going down. We had the $35,000 that you had for the flooring, but you said that was being done out of temporaries, and that's already done, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Then what was proposed was 50,000 for the stadium track and then 25,000 for the pickleball.
Pickleball.
Okay, so that's 105,000. What is the other portions?
I thought we went over this before, and I
The
gave you
two
that note, a
trucks.
couple trucks.
The trucks were
Yeah, I
covered,
answered
the
that.
75,000.
I answered that email.
I think that-
too.
yeah.
I think it was to everybody.
Okay, just so everybody has that. My proposal is to give $30,000 for the track with an understanding that if in August, when we get ready to do the 2023 budget with you, Mayor, if the income tax looks like we are on par, to add the other 20,000 to that. The pickleball was proposing to give them 30,000. What I am basing that all on the projects that we do as a partnership, whether whoever with. It's been approximately 10% has been helped by other entities. The basketball courts, I know the boys and girls basketball team gave 2,500 each on a $91,000 project. The tennis courts was approximately 400 and some thousand, 450,000, somewhere around that area. The school put in 50,000 for that, which was a
Right.
little bit over 10%. So one was a little bit under, one was down. The pickleball project, the courts itself was at 200 and some thousand, but with the lighting, it's a $300,000 project. And the one gentleman has donated 80,000, then he came back with another 30, under my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. He put in to have enough money to pay for the courts, so that can get on the docket for the
I
basketball.
don't know if that gentleman gave 80,000.
Okay.
He gave 50,000, I definitely know
Okay,
that.
and then maybe that's, where I'm getting the 80 is then the additional 30?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's how I'm
The-
getting it. But he
yeah.
put in a lot of money of his own from his foundation for this.
Right,
Okay.
as well as the Rosenberry Foundation.
Right, there's-
And we're still waiting to hear from the Reeves Foundation.
Okay, so that's approximately a $300,000 project, so I thought if we could up that to 30,000 to put in a starting of 10% on projects, if we can stay consistent with that number, I think that's a good figure that if we're partnershiping with someone, that if they would put in approximately 10%, I know nobody can ever say exactly, but if the budget allows or income tax is increased or whatever line item it is, has some extra funding, it looks like we could put more money towards it, I say wait until later in the year, just like what we're doing here to get the 50,000 to the school, but wait until August if we can, so it should come in line with what the project they're planning on doing at the stadium. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But the construction is going to start in June.
Yeah, but they'll have 30,000 up front, and then approximately in August, we'll look at it as a council again by the finance chair. I'll call the meeting for whatever, any other items we have, not just this, if there's anything else we get through here, that we want to look at, see what the economy's doing and what the funding's looking like, and propose it that way. That is what I'm trying to look at. I'm concerned with some parts of the budget, of the balances that will be in those line items, and I'm really concerned what the future holds for our city a couple years down the road. And I think that's part of my responsibility to take into those considerations, talking with the auditor, talking with some other finance people, what's their feelings on our economy and our monies coming
Yeah, but
through.
this is just for budgeting this year.
I know,
We don't
but I'm-
know, we don't know 2 years down the road.
And that's right, and I don't want to get in a bind if something happens for our city that we don't have any.
Well, I don't think
fund.
you're gonna get in a bind with $50,000 to the school this year.
Well, and I agree we will, but not right now. I would do 30 now as a recommendation and see what, I've talked to the members here.
Yeah.
We're all in kind of favor, yeah, we'll give the 50, but we want to give 30 now and say, okay, if the money, or income tax is right, I have no problem with coming back and saying in August, and I'm giving you a date to look at it. But if it happens in August and our income tax is down, then it's a finance and the council's responsibility to make sure that we can pay our other bills, that we've already taken care of it for the city. Okay?
Well, I'll let that up to the rest of the council to
Okay.
decide.
All right,
But the mayor would like to see 50,000 there.
okay, okay. And then, so with that being 30, 30, and the 35, that's 95,000, and the vehicles are out there also. So Beth,
Yeah,
okay?
so am I adding another 30 to that 175?
Well, what do you, what's the 154 then if it's not part of that in there, Beth? I thought we went,
It's the trucks, it's the pickleball, the floor.
and 30,000 right now is what I'm proposing, 30,000 for the
The floor's already paid for.
floor's already, the
Yes, but it has
35,000
to
on the
be in
floor is done.
permanents.
It came out temporaries, that was brought up,
It has to be in the permanent, so,
but you still have to put the money there, don't you, Beth?
yes.
Okay, yeah, so I think that's,
This is page 34.
I will get you one, make sure she has the right numbers that she was told to put in.
Okay, we spent 70 for the trucks.
Okay, I had 75,000 now, but you said
No,
70?
I'm sorry, we spent 54.
Oh.
What were the trucks? 54 was,
Two of them?
I
I
thought,
thought
it
they
was-
were more than
so I thought you told me 75, and I thought Ronnie gave me the number 75 also.
Something like
I've got
that.
a note
that.
here,
I'm gonna look
80K.
right now.
You have 80? Well, we're all over the ballpark.
Borrow mine.
That would be for two.
That's what I thought too. I was running towards 75 is the number I had from Ronnie, and I thought that's what Beth told me earlier, but
Thank you.
This is line 14.
while she's looking at it, Ronnie, the roof, service director, when you look at the
What
roof,
we've paid so far out of there is the park floor and the final payment for the South Side.
Southside Park, that was what the other
trucks are
was.
not out of there yet.
That, the Southside Park, the final, is that the final payment on
Yeah,
that?
so we're at 55. Plus the trucks are 70 to 75,
Okay.
that's 125.
And then
Plus pickleball is,
30,
okay, so that's 155.
okay, and 30 for the track, or did you already add the track in that?
No.
Then that's 185.
That'd be 185 at least.
And then the other was, you said the floor was also had to be added back in there.
Yeah,
So
we're at 185.
185. Out of the 7 members here,
Okay, we're right here. All right, thank you.
is everybody okay with 30 now? Okay, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes,
So we are waiting until August to see if we can afford to give them another $20,000.
seeing how, no, just to see how the income tax, if it's, where it's at above, I agree that we can give the 20,000. Yeah, I think that's
Are you-
fine. Am I what?
Are you foreseeing that this $20,000 is not gonna be available?
I'm just
in August?
foreseeing, I don't know how the whole, across the whole city itself. Because I was putting everything at 10% as what all the other projects have been recently, that I was starting at the 10%, but if in August we look like we're fine,
What's the August date? What,
first meeting in August.
but did you choose that for a specific reason, or?
Because I'm gonna meet in September to do the budget for 2023. So that way, it would be part of this year, and I don't have to worry about it going into next year. Rather than carry it over next year, which I don't want to do that, because I'm trying to make it work, but I'm just concerned about the dollars that, all across the board of where everything lays. Yes, Master Capital has money, but the general fund is hurting, and there's some other funds that are gonna be depleted to a point that I'm concerned, is just see where we are in August. If in July we look like we're over everything, I'd be willing to discuss it in July. I'm not trying to say no, I'm just trying to say, I would like to wait. We give 10%, we can give the other portion. In July, if it looks like, seeing what Vicki Daniels' number, when she gives us our report, I'll gladly set the meeting up earlier. I will do that. I have no problems with that. I want to see, with gas prices going up and everything else going up, I just want to protect our other interests and our other things. I'm not against anything. We use the track. It's a city facility. I'm not being, I feel I'm being responsible with our city money and being explanation of why I want to wait till then, because I'm concerned about the future of our city, which, that's my whole purpose. Yes, Mr. Holland?
Question for the auditor. Chairman just said that there's a problem with the general fund. Can you explain that?
Well, there isn't a problem with the general fund in that the budget fits if we get all the revenue in that we expect to get in. And if we change the distribution of the income tax and add franchise fees to the general fund. It's projected to be very low, and we don't like to see that, no.
What is projected to be low?
The ending balance.
By a percentage?
No, it's, you know, the current projected ending balance is $100,000. That's scary. But I know in 27 years of doing this, we don't spend the entire budget. But the proposed budget looks like there will be only $100,000 left in the general fund at the end of the year.
Provided everything is done, okay, or purchased or whatever.
Provided that council agrees to put franchise fees in there, plus some of income tax that might have gone to master capital, yes. And that's already accounted for in the master
Yeah.
capital balance.
Yeah, she's already put there. Beth, could you also tell them how much money we're planning on bringing over from the franchise fee? So they have, so they hear the numbers that you and I discussed.
We get about $75,000 a quarter, and we had an ending balance of so that's about $300,000 in a year. Plus we had a couple $100,000 in there last year to end the year with, so at least the $300,000 that we're gonna get this year.
She's gonna pull over to there to help that be where it will be.
Which then moves that projected balance to 400? Is that correct?
No, it's
No,
accounted
it's
for
already accounted
already
for.
in the general fund.
It's already there to make us
The
balance.
last page of the general fund shows that.
And there should be a note on the last, not this last one she sent, the one before, it should have a note over in the column of how, I think she got a ruling from the law director that she was able to use that money, correct?
That's correct. I issued a ruling that the franchise fees could be applied. There's nothing that restricts it.
Because otherwise they would not be there and we would be at a negative.
I do want to say something about paving, though. You know, I'm already seeing a reduction in gas taxes. People aren't going to be driving as much. We're not going to be getting the gas tax revenue that we might expect. So, you know, the street department, that's 60% of the street department's revenue.
And
Just
what
throwing that out there.
Beth and I discussed all this earlier today. That's what, you know, her and my concerns are the same, and we would like to see what goes on a little bit. So, like I said, I'm not against any of what the mayor has proposed. I am not. I'm against just doing it right at this moment.
But
Yes,
that 200,000 you were talking about, is that just a carryover from what we didn't use out of the 300,000 last year, or is that?
Right, because I was able to start building that fund because we had enough money to pay off the debt for this building.
So, yeah, so that's what that's coming from, is
Yes.
from not having to pay for the city
Right.
hall anymore.
Right,
So, I mean, that's pretty much $200,000 is there for us.
yes.
So,
from now, unless we buy something else or do something else for the general fund,
So,
is
yeah.
where she's putting that money.
However, 130 of that
Is bonded.
You already paid the
to pay off the
the
SIB
loan,
loan.
the SIB loan.
Oh.
So she's using that to pay SIB loan, so.
that's good, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a debt we won't have then anymore. So that, no,
So,
like,
about 70,000 then carried over to our 300,000, so it'd be so another maybe $170,000 left, approximately 150,000.
We can't do anything with that money until council directs what we're gonna do with that
And
money.
Beth, what would you say, like, I know it's a hard percentage to say, but I mean, I know what we project as a budget and what we actually spend for a budget.
It's
mean-
typically about 85%.
So there's another 15% of our total budget for the general fund that we would probably have carryover.
It depends on the fund. It,
And,
you know,
and
it's
it
not
depends if
every-
we get the money in, like Beth and her and I have talked. This is what we're projecting, but it doesn't mean we're gonna get it, especially just like she's talked about the fuel taxes, and we discussed that this morning, her and I, that it'd be a real hardship on the street department. The whole general services would be hurt by this. And I know Mr. McAbear reported, same paving we did last year will be additional $126,000. So we're probably gonna do less paving unless we have money come from somewhere else, because we're not gonna be able to afford to do the same miles of paving because the cost is just too much. So my thing is, I'm just trying to be a little bit cautious right now. And I know the school's project is important, and I have no problem with it being important, but I'd like to wait. And if we can at that time, I'm a yes vote at that time for no problem. If the 20,000, and we look like our income tax is coming in. I'm just a fear, if something goes south on the income tax in the economy, what else could we use that money for? And again, I know it's master capital. I understand that. Yes, Mr. Seldenright.
When do we start seeing what that number will be, or when do we have a general idea if it's at least trending in the direction we think it's going to?
The gas tax or?
Just,
From
from the income tax, yeah.
Mrs. Daniels sends you that every month. And
Okay, but
you'll
that,
see
we want to
that.
wait until,
I want to get about 6-7 months in is what I really want to look at. And then Beth and I will meet again. I already told Beth, I'll probably meet with her or call her once a month just to go over, hey, does things look okay? And then I'll report to council her findings or what her feelings are to what's going on. I just think we're just in a scary time. And the one financial gentleman I spoke to used to sit right over there. And he says, Kelly, this is the scariest time he can remember being in the banking business. So that came out of his mouth.
You know,
So-
we're only 3 months into it, but we're keeping steady with where we were last year so far, but we'll see what happens.
It's not to the point that I'm, want to shut the faucet off. It's just, I want to just meter it just a little bit down with, so everybody will get their share that the mayor has proposed. Yes, Mr. Pace?
Without the 20,000, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you can answer, does it halt their project completely?
I don't know, Mitch. I don't know.
I spoke with Amy. It puts a hindering on it, but not with the factor that we'll do the 20 in July or August. I think it's okay. I was gonna call her after we discussed tonight. I was gonna call her tomorrow, and I will report that on our next meeting, that if there is a problem, I will bring it up that we could take a vote on it before we get started. Is that fair enough?
Well, so if she says she has a problem and that it's gonna halt construction, then we're just gonna say, okay, now.
Well, I'm gonna ask you all seven of us to make that decision. That's what I'm gonna say.
Can't they fundraise for that?
Can they? What I've known they've done, they have raised the money, 220,000, they've projected from 4 years they've raised. I've spoke with her in length.
So they can't raise anymore?
Not for I don't think for this year, and I don't know if the mayor has any more information. Just what I talked to her about, they're locked where they were, plus the grants that they received, and plus the fundraising they did. I was under understanding the project was a $278,000 one, but it's really $306,000 with the tracking mechanism and some other things that they added to it, is where that's at. So I did leave it with her. I would call back after this meeting and we discuss it. But that's what I'm saying. It's $20,000. Yes, it's $20,000, but when you're in trouble, $20,000 is a lot. If we're carryover is what Beth and I discussed, I think it shows on our papers here, the carryover in the general fund is $77,000. So there's your 20,000. I mean, if you're just putting it dollars, but they're not the same, they're apples and oranges, because we're in master capital, we're not in general fund. So I want everybody to understand that, you know. But let's just say something major breaks at one of the buildings or one of the plants. That's your backup money right there. And I know how far $600,000 to go in construction. And that's what I said, I'm just trying, no, do we have the money? Yeah, we have the money. But if something breaks, do we have the money? I don't know what breaks, you know. I believe we have to have an insurance policy, and on our insurance policy is our carryover balance. Yes, Mr.
I
Hall?
have a question for Bob. What is our gross
We already got 34,000, we better pack them in.
23,000.
I was like, let's end that discussion on 20 real quick.
So 34
But those
million?
are some, you know, I mean, that includes funds we can't control, like the court and, things like that, so.
And some of that money is pass-through money
Prosecutor.
that
Right.
we get, and it goes right back out, or, so,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Question.
yes.
Are we trending, Beth, are we trending up? I know we're worried about the gas tax, but, you know, I see a lot of people vacation closer to home where our bed tax would go up and not down. Are we trending up in any areas? I mean.
No, not yet. And we have one, hotel motel, not paying us again. So, the same one we have a problem with every time.
Those are the worries, Don, just so you know, those are the worries I'm worried about. What if people can't pay? What happens if people can't pay?
But I thought maybe
Yeah.
some of the stuff people are saying close to home, some of the vacations, people are gonna maybe come here instead of going out of state. Those are maybe the bed tax would be up and some other.
Some not
Summertime
go
may be a
anywhere.
Great time for
That's
us.
one of the first things that goes.
Yes,
Not
Mr.
yet,
Holland?
and with the bed tax, Don, it's a little too early
Yeah, it's too early.
in the season, I think.
Yes, Mr. Holland?
I don't think $20,000 is gonna save a $34 million budget.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, as the public looks at how we're spending our money, that is one of them I've had some phone calls about. They said, how about give me 20,000 to pay on my house? Well, it's not the same, and I understand that, but I have to explain to them, I'm trying to be consistent at the 10% that everybody else has given to us as we gave to them. And that's why I'm starting at 30. Wait until July to shows that we have no deficit. I mean, we haven't went down 50% on our income tax. I'm in favor of giving the money in July. If I'd had all this information January 18th, I would have had better resources I could have done. I didn't get that information until February 7th. And again, I know that this isn't just something that popped up. That's just when I was told. So I want to work with communication with the mayor to be ahead, and that's why I want to talk with him in September of where his projects are going. And that's why I'm trying to be as fiscally responsible as I can, I would do with my own funds at home, as I am doing right here.
What else are you proposing to not fully fund, or perhaps what are the dollar amounts that are gonna help?
I think Beth and I have already adjusted to what we thought needed to come out that was nothing different than what the mayor has asked for.
So all you're looking at right now is $20,000.
Oh, I'm looking at that, it was one because it was specifically given to me as amount from the mayor. If there was no amounts given by the mayor, there's been a lot of changes that Beth and I went through and adjusted our appropriations this year.
And are reflected in the budget.
Yeah, the only thing we're discussing is I'm trying to take everything the mayor gave me on his list and the service director's list and have listed to make sure the funds were there, and that's what I did with Beth. When I got those two lists on February 7th, I made an appointment with Beth, I went and sat with her, and I went through each one of those to see what they were, and that's where Beth said, these are all the wrong line items, and she corrected all the line items to where the funding came from. So that's what I've been working on. Everything else, whatever she appropriated, and figuring she has talked to the department heads and whatever, however you do it, Mayor, how does she get those lists from those department heads? We adjusted only to put the raise in for their labor. I think it's a labor line item that we made sure that the 3.5% was all there for those pay raises. So that's what we've been doing. That's the only thing that's been done. Mr. McAfee.
I know, and heard you before, Mr. Chairman, talk about you getting that in February 7th. The previous finance chair probably had it in October, so you may have got it at that time.
Wait, I'm sorry, he's not here. you
I
know.
know, but this, it wasn't like it was something that was.
Well, council
put
should have
in there
all been told.
in-
Most of it's
In
been-
December or whatever.
That's fine, he had it, but the other council members
Well, let me
needed to
finish,
have it.
but I mean, I just want everybody to be clear that you got it February, but it was all, Rob had all that, and Rob had sat down with, the mayor and Beth, just make sure that everybody's aware of that.
That's-
That
that's-
was through and approved in the temporaries.
No, we never had a list of what was approved in temporary,
No, no, no.
other than what you
The
reported.
money was there and approved in temporaries.
No, I disagree with that.
Beth?
If you are telling me you had a list of stuff that we approved in temporaries, that is a false statement
Not
that
a-
that
I didn't
the
say a
council
list.
members have.
The money was
met.
there in the line items.
It's not approved to go to where you want to go until we approve that type of, that's what council's about. You can recommend, we'll fund it.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
That's why I'm going to meet with the mayor in September. And the mayor was excited when I mentioned it to him in the meeting. And that's what my goal is. I want a list of all the projects to share with all the council members that first week of September, so we can get going. So we know all the projects that are on the docket that you are planning to do, Mayor. That's what I'm looking for from you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're very welcome.
Can I give a very brief synopsis of how this budget's put together? The mayor contacts all his people and tells them he wants to see their budget. They talk about their budgets. You know, I have a couple of departments that I have to make sure that those budgets are done. And then the department heads or the mayor start sending them to me. I start putting them in my giant spreadsheet. And then I take a look at it and ending balances and that kind of thing, and I might call the mayor or the service director or the department head and say, this isn't gonna work, we have to do something. What I do is try to make it fit, and then it's up to council and finance committee to do whatever they want with it.
And I think you explained that to me, and that's what I told, I'm trying to take what is given to me and say, everything okay, and try to use my best judgment as a first-year finance chair. And that's all I'm asking. You have to allow me to learn the position, and that's why I will never, as long as I sit here as a finance chair, will let a budget go like what we're doing in our backs to the wall. I want my council members, my committee members to have that information very soon, early, so they can ask questions and do some research. Yes, Cheryl?
Question, you said that the departments give your budgets to you, but I mean, do we get to see those? I haven't seen any department budget.
Well, I don't know if they share them with you or not, but, you know, they've talked to the mayor and or the service director, maybe the safety director.
Cheryl, I'll assure you, this coming year, we'll have a list of projects they have in their budget. Each council member will get that as early as when I sit with the mayor and go through it with him. Everyone will get a copy of everything I received, and I gave you a copy of everything I received,
Yeah.
and I hand-delivered to each one of your houses.
Yeah. We got the project.
Yep, I
yes.
gave you everything that the
You
mayor,
did.
the only thing you don't have in there is the picture I took of the mayor's projects on his whiteboard on January 18th.
And to get a first draft of all the departments' budgets, you know, I mean, those might get changed 5 or 6 times
Oh,
before
yeah.
I'm putting them in here. And it just doesn't make sense to share it all with
Right,
people.
right, that's
The
all.
first draft
It's not
might
really
be the
what,
same.
it's gonna help, it's gonna confuse you because you're gonna have 7 drafts before we even get here
I
to talk
understand
about it.
not getting like the
I want you to get your
first draft.
project. I want your projects. Everybody can see their projects, so you can see where they're spending. Salaries and benefits, I think is pretty settled by the contract that we vote on, so I don't wanna hash those over. You know, positions I will hash over, and that's not what we're here for. But right now, I wanna get an approved budget that we can live with, and then hopefully we can do a little better job by me meeting with the mayor early and me talking to the auditor every month to see where things stand. I just think you have to allow me as a chair to at least try to be more communication with all council members on where the dollars are coming and what they mean. I went through a list of all the money where each of the two line items we're talking about, which is master capital and general fund with Beth today, to say how many people will be affected by monies that if we don't get our income tax, or we don't get our other real estate tax, our local revenue, our county revenue, the parking, the mayor's, and the lodging tax. She has the whole list of here that make up the general fund. But her scariest things was the general fund budget, and her second scary is the gas tax. If we don't receive that, that has a huge deficit on us of how we're gonna make that up. And her biggest thing is if we lose the state excise tax off gas, which some states are taking that away, that's 60% of the money that takes care of the general services. And general services, I think, was around 2 million,
No.
their line. What's their budget?
They should be getting around 900 and some thousand.
But what's their whole
gas
budget?
tax. I'm looking.
Yeah. I did not talk to her about exactly what the budget was, but she was concerned about that 60% of that goes.
1.8,
1.8, see,
Yeah.
2 million. So,
that's
to
a
me.
$2 million budget, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting, it was a $2 million budget. So, find that money, that's why I say, so I'd rather walk cautiously right now, give it 6 months. If it's there, and the mayor has projects he wants to do, it's not for me to say no if the fund's there, if it's a respectable project and us as 7 council members agreed to it. So.
So what you're saying is you don't wanna promise the 50,000 and we can't give it.
But in July, I'm making the statement, if July we are not going at a negative 50% or 30% or whatever number that she's worried about, I'm okay with it, because we're halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year in July. Yes,
So what else are we cutting here to make a major impact on this ending carryover?
we've already done all that. That's the only thing, every mayor gets
And we're-
everything he asks
So
for.
with our 20,000 that we're cutting from this, we're still sitting at 100,000?
You're just talking about master capital, right?
I'm just talking about
Those
master-
projects?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's all, yeah, maybe,
Not anything else in the budget?
no, that's, I'm just getting through this, and then the rest have already been, whatever, when I got to Beth and talked, she'd already talked to the mayor and service director, but I think she did talk to him a little bit after we met. We just had a few questions because we had some of the line items weren't lining up. But that all got corrected, and I think the service director sent out a new list where those dollars are coming from.
And the additional positions are in
That's in
salary?
additional positions are in salary committee right now. And we'll discuss those when we get to those. I'm just trying to get through the budget, and we'll
Okay,
go back to
sorry.
those. Yeah. So, as a whole, we okay with how we're doing this, and in July, we will revisit. And I'll call the meeting, I'll schedule the meeting right now. When does she do her report, Beth, Vicki? You get to report in July.
But the first week of the next month.
First week of the next month? So we don't, in July, she'd only have for June.
Right.
In August, you'll have the
Well-
first 6 months?
I'm trying to get, so when the project's done at the stadium, the money will be released to her. That's what I'm trying, so let's go with June. The funding at the end of June, how we sit. I'll set a meeting up for the second.
In July.
July, it'll be the second week in July will be our council meeting. I'll have a place that I'll have a meeting there for that. That way, and again, I'm gonna speak with Mrs. Wentworth tomorrow, explain to her what our plans are, and the numbers will tell the truth, it'll be there. If she sees no decline, and the mayor's still on board, and I'm okay, yes, I'm a yes vote. Yes, Mr. Please.
What's the percentage come July
June,
or
will
June?
be June.
That would make us say, we don't want to use that 20 grand or spend it.
Would you be concerned if there's a 10% drop in our
That
income?
would, yeah, because the general fund would not be getting the money that they need.
Okay, so if it's fair to say if there's not a 10% drop,
Even 5% is probably a lot too.
So it'd have to be more than 10% in the next 3
well,
months.
she's saying 5, she's thinking 5. So a 5% drop you would be okay? No?
No.
But if it's a
How-
five,
That's a big
That's a
number.
lot.
if it's a 5% jump, that means it has to be 10% the next 3 months, because you
And-
said we're right on par right now.
But if you look at
3 months
Vicky's
forward.
numbers, I had her list there, but I don't know if I still have it.
I'll go get it.
We're way up, and I think in February, we were like real high where months, years
Sometimes the
before.
money comes in late.
It comes in differently, but you can see the trend that if maybe February has a big month and then the following year, it's March's has a big month, it kind of goes up and down.
It's payroll tax.
Yeah, right there it
And
is.
as long as people aren't being laid off.
Here's,
We should
an
be
example
in
is
good shape.
January's, it was 927,000. Last year, it was
Businesses this year.
875,000. So
Yeah.
we're going in the right way. We're going in the right direction. I don't have February's unless she's already put it out and I just happened to see it. She may have not put it out yet.
I think she went to go get it.
Yeah.
Mail be up.
But for example,
Mayor, is there any
Last-
rumors of businesses?
for example, last
Businesses
April
are-
is a $1 million.
It's more.
But the year before was
offices,
790,000.
everything's on the size.
Despite
The same month.
what's happening in Washington.
But that
That was
year,
income tax.
Yeah.
When you had to file it.
Yeah.
income tax is always about timing, and in 2020, the filing deadline was extended till July.
Right.
That's why it probably jumped up where it did.
And it's not a good year, 2020 is not a good year to compare
No.
any year to, so.
So did she have February's totals yet?
It's out there, yeah, it's out there.
Is it out there, February's?
Yeah,
$5.99 compared to $5.65.
599? So we're,
$5.65 last year.
yeah, so we're going in the right direction, so I think June is a fair, we'll do June's first week in July, second week in July's council meeting, I'll set a meeting up. I'll have the law director, if it looks like it's a good, I'll have him already have it proposed before we vote, so I'll propose the ordinance to adjust the appropriations. I'm sure there's gonna be adjusted appropriations with fuel being $4 a gallon compared to what we were paying last year. I'm sure you weren't thinking of that whenever you were making the budget up for this year.
No, but we have a bid price
Yeah,
for that. Yeah.
so, okay.
Kelly,
Yes, Mr.
I just had a question, Beth, you've been here longer than a lot of us. You were here during the 2008 Great Recession, and the housing market crash. I know you were here, and I know what all the worries were during the pandemic in 2020. Have you ever seen a 10% drop like that?
No, I don't remember that.
I was just curious based on past experience, because I know we've been in tough times before.
I expect us to stay steady in income tax, but, you know, there's no guarantees. It's the gas tax I'm worried about. And we would need the income tax to make up for the deficit in the gas tax for
Yeah,
the
I'd be
street
worried about the
fund.
gas tax too. I think that's a legitimate concern.
So, Beth, I'm sorry,
Yep, yes, Mr. Ramos.
what's the biggest drop you've seen?
Oh, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay.
I kind of, it's good to look at like June and December, I feel, because it fluctuates. You can really see how one year it's March, next year it's April, May, July, they just change. You can see where the large numbers, they come, but they're not in the same month.
Property tax.
That's all I can say. They're not, at least from
No,
the history.
It depends on when
Right.
payroll taxes
Payroll.
due.
Right. So-
And, you know, whether you pay quarterly or monthly.
But with the war and everything that's going on in the world right now, we're gonna have a real good thing by June. I feel we'll have a good view for this year. Not saying what would happen next year, that's just, we'd have to look. But right now, and again, when you do make your appropriations, if there's no money there, we have to adjust appropriations that there's no money to spend. But this year, Beth and I both believe this year is gonna be okay. It's the next 2 years that her and I are worried about, to be honest with you, that her and I have discussed. And I'm not one to say, I'm not gonna worry about it because I won't be here. I'm gonna worry about it because I'm gonna still be here. Not maybe here, but here,
We live here.
yes. So, That's all I'm asking, you know. Anything else? Okay. So Beth, you make that adjustment to, you said one, oh, she, I'm talking to the,
She went to her office.
okay. Do you know what she was going to get?
No, Steve put it.
Bathroom, she went,
Oh.
she'll be back right in a few minutes. We're, the 40,000 for the roof, have you, got prices on that yet, Mr. McAveer?
Just got a new one Friday.
Does that look like it's in the ballpark?
Yeah, well, I had some fudge room in there anyways. It was at, 32 it came in, and 34.
Is there any other need for anything else you see?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I
Is
always
there-
leave a little bit just in case, so.
Is there anything that's come up other than the damage at the cemetery that money would have to be used to fix anything?
No, he takes that right out of his maintenance budget.
Okay.
You know, it was like, I saw that bill come in from Menards. Oh, it was just came in, I signed it, $300 and something.
Okay, I'm just glad it got taken care of.
Whatever he spends on
It's-
there, I mean, that's minuscule.
It looks, but it looks better. I didn't know if there's anything else that you know that any of the other facilities that would need big repairs that has happened since February when you gave the
No.
information? Okay.
No, I was shocked to see, on that, just for FYI, on that bill, half-inch OSB board, $46 and something cents a sheet I bought.
Yeah.
They're buying it for $12 a sheet. Oh,
Okay, Beth, you'll adjust then the line item of 5204
To make it 185.
if that takes care of the items that we discussed. And then in July, I will do a review. I'll get with you though before that. And I'll keep everybody up to date too, what Beth and I have talked about.
I think you're gonna need to take a vote on that, aren't you?
We'll take a vote on the whole thing. I don't vote on each one of them. Or do you want to take a vote? Is that what are you making a motion to make a vote?
Well,
Remember.
what I'm saying is I'm not for that.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
But I would vote for it to get it to full council.
I agree.
You'll vote to get the full council. I'm not sure what you're saying then. Please.
I'm not for it. I will vote yes to accept your proposal to get it to full council.
The whole budget?
And, well, where we are now.
Would you like just to make a motion?
You want to vote on
To
this
vote
line
something?
items?
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
but it's not gonna do any good at this moment
Yeah, it is.
because it doesn't get to full council
Yep.
before everything else.
So does that mean we can vote on different line items?
You'll have to talk to the law director. I do
Yeah.
not know.
Am I allowed to ask for an opinion?
Of course.
That's what I'm asking.
That's why I'm here. Well, first of all, there's not been a motion made. Is there a motion to, you're gonna have to make a motion if you want to adjust the budget in committee.
Can I ask you this? Is he allowed, can I make a motion to get the consensus of all council members on this issue? After
Well-
I get a motion from him?
Not, you can ask council members for their opinion, but they don't have any voting authority.
No,
on the
not until we
committee.
would get to the full council.
Right.
So,
So right now, it's in committee. If you want to adjust it in committee, you can do that.
Committee adjusted.
The committee can adjust it, but council can then put it back in or change it themselves also if it's the full floor.
So we can't vote on line items
no.
as a whole council?
No, our committee could do a vote to get it out of committee, but it won't do any good because we're not holding a council meeting, is what I think I'm getting from the law director. But I can ask for the opinions of each here, if, are you okay with 30,000 now, 20,000 later, or you want the 50,000 all now?
Should you ask?
Can
the
I ask
committee
that,
members
can I
first?
ask that?
Should you
Just get a
ask-
concession. Am I allowed to do that in committee?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should you ask the committee members first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go around and ask everybody, but I'm just asking, am I allowed to get, not a vote? We're not doing a motion, we're not doing a vote, we're
I
just asking
understand that.
yes or
That's your
no
feelings.
I understand.
to which way. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna say 30,000 now, 20, look at it in July, June,
I
really
understand
July.
what you're asking.
Yeah. Are you, if you're saying no to that, then we have another proposal
You
we can
didn't
look at.
ask me, but
No,
no.
but that's what I'm gonna say, ask.
No.
Okay, all right. So what I'm gonna ask is 30,000 now, then see how the funding is with the auditor in June's report from the income tax to add the other 20 at that time. So I'm just going to ask for your opinion, yes or no, or your consensus of it, yes. Amy,
No,
Dean,
My opinion is $20,000 is not gonna
Just-
save a $34 million budget.
just yes or no is all I'm asking for at this time, Mr. Holland.
No,
well,
Okay.
you know what,
No.
we just had almost
You
an
just
hour
asked me to do a
discussion over-
vote.
I'm just, we
Stop.
just had an hour discussion
Yes.
over $20,000. I feel like Dean should be able to say his
He-
opinion on that.
I'm doing to a motion to a vote. We've all had
But
our
we're not
discussion
voting.
time. Do we
There's
need
not-
more discussion time?
There is no motion on the floor, though.
There's no
Oh, okay,
motion.
well, then I apologize.
This is
I
this is our
apologize,
opinions right now.
Mr. Holland, I did not mean it that way. I was just trying to get a concession to move on in this finance, because I don't want to be here in the AM like you suggested we would be, okay? I don't know how any of you council members feel, but I've spent a lot of time on this. I've done a lot of research. I've spent a lot of time talking with Beth and other people, because I take this very personal of the city's money. So that's all I'm asking. I'm trying to be frugal with the city's money and fiscally responsible as a position that the citizens have voted me into. So that's all I'm trying to do.
In this section.
In what the mayor has presented is what I'm
Okay.
looking, that's the only thing that
Those
got,
projects.
I tried to put everything in his budget, and I took my consensus of the previous projects have been done in this city that I can remember, that I could get numbers on, and those are what I was trying to look at. That's all I've been trying to do. So, would you like to reiterate your statement?
no,
Okay.
thank you.
Cheryl Ramos? But, your opinion? Oh, wait, I'll vote mine first. I'm yes. Okay, now Cheryl.
This isn't a vote.
It's not a vote, it's just getting a
Yeah,
concession.
Just
you're
asking the
saying your
consensus of the
opinion.
That's all I'm asking your
Straw
opinion.
poll.
I understand the 10% being consistent.
Mhm.
But would actually be that the school can raise their own money. That's my opinion.
But if we're gonna do it and do
30,000's fine,
okay.
to be consistent with the 10% of the
Okay.
projects.
Mr. Pace?
I think the 30,000 is fine. I'm kind of sitting here as a first-time council member, and we are haggling over $20,000, which is 0.0005 of the budget. But I do appreciate your due diligence of the 10% for each of the projects. It makes sense to me. I don't think it's going to stop the project, so I would be for the 30,000.
Dan?
After hearing from the auditor and the, it not being as in dire straits as some to believe, I don't think the 20,000 would matter, so I'm a no on that.
Okay. Mr. Sellenright?
I look at the four numbers, everything every day. If we can, I'm fine with the 30,000. I have no problem waiting for 2 months to look at it.
Okay.
I watch these numbers drop up and down and how
Okay.
fast it goes.
Beth, will you please adjust it? Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any other issues?
You would need a motion to adjust it, I believe.
No, she's setting.
In the committee.
No, she's setting the dollar amount as we set all the dollar amounts. When she changes, we didn't do no vote when she changes the public defender's amount. We're gonna vote on the whole project. We're gonna vote on the whole budget.
But aren't you changing the budget in committee right now?
It's not being changed. We don't have a budget.
I thought we went from 50,000 to.
We added, no, we just added 35,000 to that line item.
Okay. It just seems that if we're adding something, that should be.
Then we needed to go back and do all of these then.
So,
Mr. Law Director, because.
so in other words, the
Yeah,
mayor
there's
can
other
take
line
that
items we'd
185
like
and
to
do as
look
he
at.
pleases.
No, he has it earmarked. It's already been earmarked. He's already given his things.
Well,
Then we'd
projects-
have to vote on everything they purchase, and I don't think I want to do
Projects need
that.
funded, and that's why
Yeah.
you
I'm
fund
lost.
line items.
I don't want
Say
to,
that.
I do not want
I got a
to,
question for law director.
okay. I'm going to get by this here first.
I don't think.
We've adjusted numbers all through here. We adjusted what we did when she sent her letter out. She adjusted those numbers. We adjusted, adding $6,000 for her training, and then she added another $4,500 to her training. We didn't vote on that. Yeah, we're making the budget to take to council to vote on.
I think we need to get this to the full floor as soon as possible. My biggest fear right now is going into deficit.
I'm trying to get to the floor too,
The whole budget or that line item?
The whole budget.
That's what I'm
needs to come
trying.
before. That's my biggest fear right
But
now.
I don't know, Mr. Lonzer, are you gonna be here on the 28th?
I am not.
See, he will not be here on the 28th. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I've been trying to get it to this point. So the next one is airport capital improvement,
What page are you on?
34 still.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going right down the line. You can't, you're probably, you want a hard copy? No. Okay, she has there for $65,000 for the total. Does any of those lines bother you?
So this is, where's rent income? Because they're supposed to be paying for some of this.
That's in Fund
Find the line
375.
item.
Okay, 375.
I thought we looked at that.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
I
thought,
would
yeah,
just,
yeah,
Rental income.
thanks.
okay. So everybody okay there? Take that as a yes.
Yes.
I didn't put a deadline.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but you got a deadline.
Yeah, I only got, I only got 11 pages left.
In 3 minutes.
What, there's no council meeting then. What are you trying to
Good morning.
Jumping ahead.
do? Now we're even today, okay? I apologize, you apologize. Okay. I'm thinking, what are you trying to tell me, Dean? Are you leaving? Okay. The airport, line item 476, that's grant money coming in and out. If I'm wrong, Beth, is that what we?
It's all grant money.
Yeah, it just comes in and out, so. Anybody have any questions about anything there? The water office, just for information, I think some professional service or there's some training going on for some new office, is that this new software, Ronnie?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that being taken out of two funds, or is that, I think Beth split that, right?
Water and sewer.
Yeah, okay. So that's what some of the increase there is, because they're going to a new software for their billing.
And just for everybody's, because water and sewer, because they get bills, water and sewer, that's why it's split out of two. For the software, water and sewer bills out of the water office. Sorry, there's not much to
Mr. Director, is there training? Is it a big change in their software?
Yes.
You feel it's gonna be okay. I just, to let the customers know in case there's any issues with billing going on, that's all I was looking at.
I don't think there'll be anything
You don't think-
from that end. I think
Okay.
it's gonna be a curve for the girls.
Okay.
I think they'll handle it, but yeah, there'll be, I thought you just meant, will there be training provided for the
Well, I was just
girls?
worried if it's gonna be extensive because it's a big change in
No,
how it's.
they'll handle it.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident they'll handle it.
Does anybody have anything in the water office that sticks out to them? Okay. Water supply. I think a lot, just so you know about some of these funds, there's a lot of money there in some of those funds, but it depends on how many water line leaks they have or what kind of parts and pieces they need to buy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ronnie, for those. That's why, there's 200 and some thousand in some of those line items, but you only use 96,000 out of one. So the money needs to be there just in case something goes wrong. So don't be afraid about those numbers, because I'm sure pipe's a lot more expensive than when I was there, because I know it's just unbelievable what materials are. So, anybody have any problem with water supply?
No.
Okay. Water distribution. Any problems? Page 38, water replacement, 7-Eleven. I'm sorry. Yeah. Did I miss one?
No, I'm sorry, Kelly.
We okay?
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right,
It-
all right.
That was cool.
38. Now, I think this is where I spoke to the mayor after the meeting last council meeting. I would like to create a line item for water plant renovation, or if there's going to be something major be done there, that we start putting some money into a fund that can accumulate money, because we did those water rate increases for 3 years, that there is a little bit of money if there's going to be a need to do something major with our water filtration plant. Mayor, I'd like some help from you. Are you for that, to have some money
Well-
being put aside into a line item?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would, because that's quite an expense. And, you know, we have to start looking down the road. I would say, what, in 8 to 10 years?
Oh, it's probably 10 years late already.
Yeah.
But it's $16 million and you're gonna put 100,000 in it, so
Yeah.
160 years from now, we should be able to do it.
I think that, when I was superintendent, I think it was already past 5 years of its life expectancy, and I left in
Yeah, I mean,
2011.
we're gonna have to go for OPWC loans.
Correct, but I think you
To
need to have a
do
little
it.
bit of money for some
Low
engineering to look,
interest
to
Well, I
get things
think-
started.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I think with what Beth always puts in on the percentage one, Beth, over 500,000, we usually don't go in to that. Can that be enough? Because I don't think we ever get into that a whole lot.
Water.
If you look at the expenditures last year, I bet we didn't spend 5% out of that.
Water improvements, 5% of
Yeah.
water revenue.
So,
So
And
we've
that is
already
Fund
got a fund that we
314.
can use.
Which
Put a
which line?
line in a budget that really doesn't make sense for that, because then it has to fit in the expected revenue of the budget.
Can we just have it earmarked? We know, it's not a special item, but you know that's what that money is being accumulated for?
Yeah,
Would you be okay with that, Beth? Which line item would you like to make that in?
Fund 314.
Okay, and which, let's go back to 314.
Page 32.
Page 32, Amy says.
32.
Okay, what do you think is a good number? I mean, the 200,000 is sitting there right now, but will you draw any out of that this year?
I think if you look back, there wasn't much out, but I wouldn't be not be in favor of the whole bit being there, no.
Okay, so,
125,000 or whatever the percentage you'd have to, you'd probably want a percentage out of her.
you're right, right, but I'd like to keep that growing to help.
Yeah.
So when you do make that leap, or that, when they call and say, hey, the filters and the softeners, they're about done for, what are we gonna do? Because I would rather make sure we do have clean drinking water for the public and not end up anything like Flint, Michigan.
Well, I mean, let's
No,
be
That's a
fair.
whole different story.
Let's be
It's a
fair.
whole different
We're not-
story.
we're-
Come on.
We're not going there, but I mean, we're not there. I mean, they're drawing out of something that was completely different.
Well, that's what I said, it's not the same thing, but
Yeah,
I wanna
it's
make sure we
not.
can
It's
provide
not.
a
It's
major
not.
breakdown, something breaks.
Yeah, and it's truly not, but, yeah, whatever council's will is, I got no problem with it. But I would just put whatever percentage you're,
What are you putting in there, Beth?
5% by ordinance.
Okay, but is that all you want there? You would want any extra? That's why I'm asking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why I'm
sorry.
asking.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, whatever, I'd say 50% of that, if it's 200 and something thousand and put so much back, is that where you're at with the 5%? I'm saying out of that fund, whatever it raises, not percentage, not saying 50% of that comes out, I'm saying whatever that dollar amount, if it's $2, you take $1 and put it in there, just to make easy math. So 50% of what it earns,
You get about 150, 160,000 in there a year.
that's it.
Do you want to bump it to 200?
She can't, it comes off the 5% of the
No,
bill.
what we can do is we can change your ordinance to take, say, X amount comes off the bill, goes into that, is what we'd have to do.
Yeah, but I mean, that's nothing for budget right now,
No,
right?
no, I'm just saying to
That's
look,
something down the road.
that I would like
It's
to look,
not
start.
budget right now, though,
Right,
right?
no, the money's staying there.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just talk about it later.
But would you,
then.
would you look into things
Yeah.
and see what you were comfortable
Yeah,
with? Okay,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
'Cause I
Back to-
think sewer's a different amount. Sewer has another percentage.
4%.
Pardon?
4.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
one's lower than the other. Yeah.
I think that's because you did your renovation there at the end of that, is what
Yeah.
we did. Okay, so
Sorry.
7-Eleven, we're okay with everything there? Does anybody have anything that sticks out to them?
Where are we at again?
No.
Because I know there's two projects coming out, that the Park Lane and the Glen Drive, correct, Ronnie?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, where are we at again?
We're on
This thing
page
moved
38, 7-Eleven, water replacement.
16, we'll go up to 16.
Yeah, go to 16 even. So you're on the side.
over. Yep. Oh, there we are.
That's why I can't use my computer, just what you're doing.
Oh, I didn't bring my mouse, that's my problem. Okay, let me get where we're at.
You talking about engineering, construction, that? 5400, is it 5401?
You just click on the up arrow, each, that'll.
He only has
slow.
100,000 in there. He's taking a little bit from everywhere for those two projects, but I think those are the two projects he has earmarked for this year.
Correct.
That's all that's what I was
Yeah,
getting at.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Does anybody have any questions about that then? I'm just trying to bring in where your big projects that you've already have given.
And I apologize, I didn't bring my dang on mouse.
It's
You got
okay.
mine.
I know.
713, Water Sewer Office. I think it's very similar to the Water Office Fund. Any questions? Thank you. Sewer revenue, 713.
Can,
Yes,
sorry, I do
yes,
have a
Cheryl?
question, sorry. And 3401, computer services, is that for the new computers or some update or software or something?
You're on 713. You're on page
Yeah,
39.
713, my page numbers are different.
Yeah.
713, line item 3401.
$10,000 there?
That's the same as the other.
Yeah, it's the same as
Okay.
coming out of
Gotta
the water.
remember, like I said before, the bills come out of each office.
Right.
So they split that evenly. Do upgrade,
New upgrade, okay.
correct.
Okay. So we're now at 713, page 40. Seven thirteen, page 41. 3903.
Use these.
And I'd like to say, Mr. Myers' budget he put in
You scroll.
is a very clean budget.
Yeah.
I told Beth when I first saw her, I says, hey, this one here is the best, and she has a term for Mr. Myers down there, but I'm not gonna say that, but he doesn't, I called him and I thanked him. His explanation on his was very good, he gave, so I was, kudos to him for
Brian,
you if you tell him,
yeah.
because I really appreciated Brian not being in my world. I can't work in it too well. I have a tough time down there, so.
Yeah,
So-
he does a good job
Yes, he does,
explaining.
yes. We have a lot of good supervisors, and
Yes,
I.
we do.
But his budget, I was very impressed. Being, I've done one myself, I was really impressed with him.
Good.
So, 7/13/3904.
That's where I'm at.
Okay, anybody have anything? Okay. Ambulance fund, 7/15/5100. If you look at overtime, they'll be spending that money first for overtime. There should be over on the, clear on the right-hand side, Beth puts little notes in there. I'm trying to work with her, so it's easier to reference back to, because when you get your pages flipped, it just helps.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to try to do a lot more of that in the future. Anybody have any questions? Okay. And you can look at each of those departments. She does put what the year-end balance was and what her projected carryover is. Again, it's hard to say what you're gonna have because you don't have no idea for sure what's coming in that year. The Evergreen Endowment Fund, 8/14/5600.
There you go.
And I think the other endowment fund is the other cemetery. The city took over Evergreens is why I think, is that why there's two different endowments, Beth?
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah,
was separate?
Because they became expendable trusts.
Okay. No questions?
No.
Okay. Unclaimed monies, that's,
No questions.
okay, good, thank you, Amy, thank you. Profit sharing lots, 8/23/5300. And I think the law library is the last one there, which is 8/64/6400. I think that's what you have to have that, correct, law director?
That's my understanding.
Yes, okay.
That's just money in and out. I gotta,
Yeah.
court gives it to me, I gotta send it to the county.
Okay, yes, Mr. Holland has a question, I don't know who for, but,
From the law director, actually. We had discussed a few years ago about updating our law library, putting it online and updating that conglomeration that you had on the floor in the basement. Has that been done?
We have been steadily digitizing everything. With interns, we'll get a lot more done in the summertime. Yeah, we've been steadily digitizing boxes and boxes and boxes of going all the way back to the 60s, so that it's accessible at your fingertips. But the law library in this, that refers to the law library across the street.
County.
Right? Yeah, the county law library,
okay,
not our, not what we use.
not your stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, then what is left is the line items that had connected to the proposed ordinance 5. I'll entertain from my committee any ideas. Then I'll open it up to all council members. I spoke to each one of you, what I think would be a nice thing to do. I don't have the right answer, I don't have the wrong answer. I really don't have a good way to not hurt anybody. Somebody gets hurt somewhere on this, so I want to hear from the members of my committee and then the council to what we do with all those positions that are proposed. But that is now currently in the salary committee and is a tabled item. Just to say what I said was, I said that we maintain paying what they are getting paid until until proposed ordinance 5 is resolved. and then it'd make adjustment after that is completed to get this budget passed by April 1st. So, not saying what's right, not saying what's wrong. I just trying to maintain across until proposed ordinance 5 is resolved. So, with that said, we can start with page 3. We did not conclude law directors 101-700 or prosecutors 101-800.
If I understood correctly, your proposal was we would move forward, that no position would be hurt.
My proposal was, whatever they were getting paid last year, they get paid the same amount until proposed ordinance 5 is resolved, however it's resolved. So nothing gets hurt.
For existing positions.
For existing positions, no, there's nobody,
Existing
none
as
of
of
those
last
are
year.
added. Yeah, whatever was working last year, where they're at, they stay as is until proposed ordinance 5 is resolved. So whatever was there as of December 31st is still there as December 31st. There is no new, any bodies coming in, is what. And that way, because the budget was there, however those people got paid, I think a lot of the ones in health department have grants. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Right.
Mayor. So the grant's still there, correct? So they'll be making the same amount until proposed ordinance 5 is resolved. Is that, I'm just saying, is that acceptable? I don't know.
Going to committee
Yeah.
first, or you go
Well,
on?
I'm going to committee first, that's what,
Okay.
I guess I'm trying, that's what I'm saying, I'm not yay and naying of anything, I'm just saying, to get our budget passed, there is no increases included at this time.
No additional bodies, you mean?
No additional bodies or no additional monies to anybody because proposed ordinance 5 has salaries in it, those have not been approved.
Plus, we're missing one. The assistant law director is not in there.
That wasn't asked to be added, I'm sorry.
That's right. I think Mr. Sellering, about adding that and any other positions that were not listed get added to the,
But yeah,
Scale.
that wasn't requested to be added to,
Yeah.
that wasn't on ordinance 5 to be added
Yeah.
to scale.
I say that's when you would discuss that at that time.
Okay.
So I mean, if I guess I'm trying to say everything's status quo until proposed ordinance 5 is resolved.
You gonna,
I'm gonna talk to them, I'm just making sure, I wanna make sure everybody understands what I guess I'm saying, because
Are they working right now?
I think so.
And they're getting paid? You're saying keep their pay at what the pay is right
It-
this second?
Yeah, don't
From
adjust it
last
up.
year.
But
Last year.
did Vicky not say that these people, the two that she added from full-time, or from part-time to full-time, did she not say that they were not getting an increase, but she wanted them on the scale for next year so that they were eligible?
So they're getting
Yeah,
paid.
she was,
That's what she's getting paid. That's what she's being paid.
So there's no
Or-
change to it then, right, if we're
No,
keeping
there's
as
change
is?
to it.
so to be added to the scale would be
Yeah.
adjusting it in
Yeah.
accordance to each to the non-bargaining salary. But the question still in front was the Ohio code, and whether we had really any jurisdiction to say how those funds were allocated. So that was, but they are working, they're being paid for, it was just being added to the salary scale as increases go.
So what they're being paid now when?
I don't know, yeah, that's what they're being paid now. I have no idea, I do
Well-
not.
Well, then how do we, I don't understand how,
Without proposed ordinance 5 passed, there is no salary
I
scale
understand
set. So nobody gets hurt, everybody gets paid what they're getting paid. There's no new bodies that were added, January 1st, there's no new bodies. It's what was working, I'm taking, they've worked all last year, I did not know, but Mayor have to answer that question. They
Yeah,
were
I
getting
mean,
paid
when you
from a
sat on
grant.
the health board,
Yes, they were getting
one of
paid.
those positions was created.
because when we did the scale, we added everybody that was working in the health department to that scale at that time, 2 years ago. Correct, Mayor?
Right, and
You came back.
they were created because of the pandemic, and the State Board of Health more or less mandated that those positions be created.
It was also part of our accreditation requirements.
Right, thanks, Marvin.
I guess what I'm,
I'll recognize you, Mr. Law
I had my hand up.
I saw it, I did, I saw it. Yes, Mr. McAbeer.
You might have to ask Beth if she's paying the assistant fire chief more money this year. How
I'm
you-
not sure,
and how you're
but
gonna
that's
handle
what's
that.
been going through my mind while
That's-
this
I don't- yeah,
discussion.
That's
don't know-
first
I
thing
don't
think
know.
of. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
what I'm asking her is then, are you gonna deduct, from what I'm hearing you, he may owe us money? I mean, which way you're proposing?
That's up to you guys to decide
No,
after
no, no,
what we
no,
pass.
but I think that's what you're saying, that it stays as what
There-
it was in
But
in
the ordinance is not passed.
2022.
The ordinance is not passed.
But the ordinance only sets a scale, it doesn't say the hiring, that just sets a scale. You come out with a guy making $12 an hour today and hiring, you're just asking to add it to a scale. A
Was he being-
scale
what was
in
he
a
being
new
paid last
position
year?
is different.
What was he being paid last year? Beth?
I don't know.
Right here. It says 2021 Assistant Fire Chief was being paid $84,628.
Okay, so that's what you get paid.
Well, I'm saying, I hear you on that, I got you, Kelly, Mr. Chairman. I'm saying, but what, I think she may be paying him the higher rate right now.
Yeah, I do not know that. Then leave it as is until ordinance 5 and just pay him what the scale says.
Because there are
Well,
prices
wait,
in that
but you
ordinance.
wanna leave him at that, but you don't wanna leave
Everybody.
anybody else?
No, I don't say keep
So you're
him up
saying
there.
22's wage, so he may owe money back?
I would say I'd wait until see if proposed ordinance 5, that's your call, you wanna take the money back. That's not ours.
No, but that's what your proposal's saying.
My proposal is leave everybody working, pay them what they're getting paid until the ordinance is passed.
In 22.
Yeah,
Okay, but what you're saying is 23, he may got a raise.
that,
21.
Was the raise included in the temporary budget?
don't know.
I believe so.
Then leave it there,
Yes.
just from now on,
We don't have to spend that money, right? So if it doesn't pass, we just not use all that money.
so there's money there.
If it's already in the budget.
Yeah, I'm just worried about,
Yeah, well-
about that position.
Yeah, I mean, if he made it, he's got the money, but you just adjust it so until that ordinance is passed, or,
$1,800.
yeah.
Last year he made $84,628. This year he's supposed to make $86,320.
So,
It's roughly about $1,800. I don't know.
whenever,
We're doing a lot of
3
haggling
months of
here.
that
Yeah.
over.
Well,
A lot of haggling.
on current affairs,
And he's
we haggled
already
over
giving the
20
rate for
grand
this
for
year.
2
yeah,
hours.
I don't know when anybody's getting anything,
Less
so.
than that.
No, it's been in the budget, correct?
So, and if it's in the budget, it's in the temporaries, he was paid
It
it,
was in the budget.
Is there a motion to pass the budget as is? Did you want to entertain that?
I can't do
Mr.
that
Chairman?
now.
Okay.
I gotta get out committee, have you ready up the ordinance.
you're asking, you asked your committee to do that, right?
The committee will take a vote then, but we gotta go through this to make sure, are we okay with that? Because I don't wanna get to Monday and then suspend the rules and they get voted down, and then we're coming Tuesday to fix everything, Wednesday to fix everything, and then Thursday, we have to fix everything. Yes, sure.
For these positions that we're adding, they're all lumped into one ordinance. I would like to see those separated out.
And I think that's what has to go through the salary committee.
Yeah, it would.
I can't discuss salary committee in my meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get, how do we get the budget passed, that nobody's losing their job, everybody's getting a paycheck, and it gives time for the salary committee to get his things done.
Okay.
Yes,
Since it was already the temporaries and we don't have to spend the money, why wouldn't we just leave it in the temporaries until we figure out what we're doing?
then they're gonna owe us a bunch of money back if they get told no. I agree with that part. Right now, let it go what they were paid, adjust it, move on.
They're already getting
Yeah.
paid that though. So if you change it, they're gonna have to pay that money back.
No, I'm not changing anything.
So-
That's salary committee that changed it, not me.
You were asking to get paid on what they got paid last year, not what they're getting paid in
Okay, they're either
22.
gonna pay back now,
They're already 3
they're not
months
gonna
into
pay
the year.
back. I don't want nobody to pay anything back. I wanna wait to see what ordinance 5
Yeah, you
happens.
gave them the one with the added.
But what if they vote the job down? What are you gonna do then, Dan?
And you don't spend the money that's in the budget.
You paid somebody for a position salary that is not approved by the
We've
salary
already
committee.
paid 3 months of it.
Then they pay it back.
So you're telling them they're gonna pay 3 months of a higher salary back?
Yeah. I did that.
I think you just do it when it's at, I think we're haggling over nothing.
Well, so.
I cannot approve something that the salary committee has
Well,
not
your other committee
passed.
members can, so.
Can you pass something without a salary committee having passed
Sure you
their
can.
ordinance?
Sure you can.
You can have a meeting, you can have a meeting without
Oh, you're
the
passing
committee
the
chair.
budget.
Okay, then that's, what do you wanna do? Then tell me what you wanna do with the budget. I've already, I've
Don't
done
you ask
it.
your committee members, you keep saying you're gonna talk to them.
I'm trying to get a concession for everyone, so fine, I won't ask you.
Talk to your
What do
committee
you- What would
members
you like to
first.
do?
I would like to make a motion to adopt and send forward this budget proposal.
Okay,
As is.
has been what we've done.
As is,
As is.
this document.
Okay, so what we're gonna say then, you're happy, so all you gotta do is tell me everybody's happy, and then we'll take it to the floor.
I second that
Wait,
motion.
I gotta go through them first, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go through each line item, let everybody say something, because they're still
We-
open.
we did-
Law Director,
we did-
101,700, does anybody have any issues with it?
I have an issue with the
We can make
assistant
that-
law director.
Okay, what would you like to do?
Motion and a second.
I think we should line that out, and they all need to be in the same place.
You voted for it last time, Cheryl, in December, so I don't know.
It was
If we
not,
wanna make changes, we
no.
make changes when it comes to the.
Stop,
floor.
stop,
Position was
stop.
already approved and you voted that way.
Stop, order, order.
You have a
Cheryl, you
motion
can
and a
talk,
second.
you talk. And let Marvin
Okay.
talk, let's talk about the issue that you had the question for.
Temporaries are not to add positions. And number two, at our discussion last time, was it was very clear to me that this person was really the office manager. And I picked up on that, and things aren't getting done when things became full-time, and now we have assistant law director, and still we have issues. And everybody, the communication, I think, is not very good in law office because everybody's all over the place. I just don't think at this point in time that's necessary. And we don't have the data yet. Somebody asked for data last meeting. And
got
do you
it
have
with-
data?
I've got it with me today. Dover has an assistant law director that's making more money than mine would be. I took that money out of the prosecutor's budget and moved it over. So that's not an increase or decrease. The assistant prosecutor that's making $40,000, the average salary for in the state of Ohio, the average salary in the state of Ohio for a paralegal is $58,000. That's a 2-year degree. Dover also has a full-time secretary for the law director that serves at the pleasure of the law director. I don't have that. Dover also has an assistant law director that's making more money than that. We average 3,400 cases to the 498 that's being done with 6 prosecutors across the street. In addition to that, what was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, you're basically getting, you're getting a 4-year, somebody with a 4-year degree and a 3-year Juris Doctorate that's working for $40,000. Now, I got the data from the county. The county's prosecutors are making on average about $88,000. So, and the average salary for an assistant prosecutor in the state of Ohio on the municipal level is about 75,000. So if you want to adjust them up to what they
Full-time?
should be, yes,
And they're part-time.
yes. No, they're not part-time, they are
They're full-time?
full-time. And you asked if they're allowed to have outside things. Everybody across the street's allowed to have a private practice. None of mine are. None of mine are allowed to have a private practice. I got one guy that teaches a course at night at the University of Akron that does not interfere with his duties, and I don't have a problem with that, but none of mine are allowed to have private practices. But if you want to adjust them to what they should be, they should all be making 75.
Well, I didn't
So if
ask
you want
that.
to, if you, well, you said you wanted stats. So if you want to make them
Well,
what they should be
no, the
making, let's do
data
it.
that was requested was on the amount of cases.
Point
I
of
told
order,
you,
Mr.
there's
Chairman.
3,400 cases.
Yes.
I'm letting them finish your talk.
No,
Yes,
everything
yes,
stops at a
yeah.
point of order.
Okay, then, yes.
You have a motion and a second.
Yes, I do, but I'm not gonna entertain that, only for the reason I have to allow everybody to answer the ones that we did not go through as we do every other budget we
We
did.
did go through all of
No, we did not, I bypassed them, I circled them and bypassed them. I have them marked on my page, they were bypassed. They're circled, the pages that were bypassed. So all I'm asking, all I'm gonna say is, does anybody have anything? She mentioned it, she did, she said what she did, I'm going on to the next one. Because I have nothing in the salary committee. I am going to take it through after everybody talks, make your motion, I will address your motion, and we can take a vote. Yes, I will gladly do that. But I gotta stay consistent with what I've done through the whole budget. That's all I'm asking. You knew last time I was bypassing those in our meeting, I said, we'll come back to those at the end. Because he was having a salary committee meeting and didn't know if anything would be resolved then or not. And everything was tabled during that meeting. So that's all I'm trying to do. So,
I understand what you're trying to do. Mr. Law Director, can you rule on that?
If there's a motion on the floor, I think you need to take action on it. You can certainly ask if anybody wants to weigh in on the motion, but
it's just the three of us, so it would be the
That's the
motion.
point of this,
But
to
that's what
get it
I'm
out of
just
here, to
asking the
get
law
it to
director.
everybody's vote.
But we've always done our appropriations, everybody has already participated. In the 6 years that I've been here, and the 20-some years I was in the water, or the 10 years I was superintendent, they always went through and went line by line and went through them. They usually had the individual sitting there, because I was one of the ones that had to sit there. We've eliminated that, but we've always left everybody say what they wanted. I'm gonna move on. Once they say.
But the only
they
ones
say-
that voted on them was those three right
That's,
there.
well, that's all we'll vote on.
This is a committee.
But what we've done in the past with the years, we've gone through everything, and then we had the law director draw up the information for approving the budget, is what I recall. If I am wrong about that, tell me, and I'll gladly do whatever. Like I said, it's my first year, I'm just trying to get through it. I know how I have to act on it, I know what I can do and what I can't do.
right.
I can avoid acting on it, then they have to make another motion and go through it, but I want to leave with that. I'm trying to get him to say, let me just go through each one and say yes. If he says no, it's no. Because I know I read the Robert's
He
rules.
said we added this position.
So what'll happen, they'll have to make a motion to override my motion not to address it. And which
I guess so. Are you-
that's exactly what it is.
That you're not gonna address their motion?
No, I'm gonna address their motion, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just asking, do they not want me to go through it? And I won't, then the other council members can know. Then we're gonna address this on council floor the Monday night, whenever we're trying to pass it and suspend the rules. And that's quite all right. I'll do whichever. Because that's what's gonna happen. I could be already asking them to try and get by it, but I'd rather do what you, I know what it says. You make a motion, I make a motion, I don't address it. Then you make a motion to override me not addressing it, and you win and then I have to vote on it.
Well,
And I will
start
do
with,
that, and I
we're
will
not
do
getting
that.
anywhere, we're wasting time.
Do you want to do that on the floor, council meeting? Because that's what's going to happen. She's going to have her questions, and she has every right to have her questions. I'd rather get it done in committee. have a motion. That's what I said. If you want me to go through the motion, I gladly will, and we'll go through. And we won't have, we'll address it when I, because we have to make a motion to have the law director draw up the ordinance to pass the, for the bill.
That's correct.
Appropriations.
I will withdraw my motion.
Thank you. Okay, Cheryl has a question about that. He has addressed it. Is there any other questions? Prosecutors Department. No questions? Service directors, which I think was the building and zone administrator, is what was that one? I didn't mark it, so I'm just guessing.
That was just to add to scale, so that would
Yep,
continue.
okay.
that would continue
That's,
on.
that's in yours, okay? Any other questions about, go ahead, Cheryl.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
And
live.
the prosecutor, the victim advocate, is that still grant?
It was significantly reduced. I think we only got like 18,000.
Because they reauthorized the Violence Against Women's
Yeah, but
Act.
that wouldn't affect this year's budget.
Okay.
Is that all she gets paid, 42,000?
Yeah.
All right. Anything from the service director's office? Okay. The health department. Other than the ones that are in salary committee, does anybody have any other questions about the health department? Okay. I think we have the fire department. Yeah, the fire department's the last one, 225, page 19,
That was just add to scale.
at scale. Anybody have any other questions about the fire department? I have page 19, Cheryl, it's line item 225, 2500. You don't need notes on the
Yeah,
side?
yeah. Yeah, my page number is different. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay, I hear none. We've gone through each department. I entertain a motion to have the law director draw up ordinance for the budget of 2022 as we discussed in our committee.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
Take a vote. Dean?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Have law director draw up the proper documentation
I'll do it.
for the meeting of the 28th and have it added to the agenda. Oh, excuse me, Beth.
I just have one final question before we close. There's at least 2 new bodies. Am I not paying them anymore? What am I doing?
No, I think the budget was approved
The temporaries
as
were
whatever
approved.
you had in here. Yeah. So
they
you're
run
paying them
out
there
Unless they're approved for permanent, then they run out for temporary.
on April 1st.
Yes.
So
Okay.
if we pass this before April 1st, everything's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
If we don't, I guess we all get to go home.
yeah, we all go, yeah, 'cause
Motion adjourned.
we tried that on one December 30th, remember? We tried that.
Motion.
Okay, we make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Amy,
Yay.